Hi guys, I'm Rochelle and I'm a Ravenclaw. Today I'm here to share with you all the books that I want to read in the month of May. So I've got 6 books that I want to share with you guys today. Just going to start off with the books that I'm currently reading. This month is going to be a little bit different because I did something cool. I went and joined my local library. So I've also got 6 books from the library. So hopefully I will read at least half of them before May is over. We'll see. The first book that I want to talk to you guys about today is The Keeping Place by Isabel Carmody. This is book 4 in a 7-book fantasy series that I have been reading this year. This is a post-apocalyptic dystopian fantasy mix. Paranormal stuff's going on in here as well. This one is hard to peg with genre. You've probably heard me talk about this series a lot recently if you watched my previous videos. This book follows Elspeth. Elspeth lives in a world where, at least this is my understanding, a nuclear war has happened and we've now regressed. We've lost all of our knowledge of what's going on. And the radiation and stuff has started to cause mutations in some of the population. Elspeth is believed to be part of a prophecy. She is what they call the Seeker, and her role in the prophecy is that she will seek out, find, and decommission the great weapons that are left. So I'm assuming other nuclear bombs, potentially. I could be completely wrong about the nuclear war thing. That's just what I am guessing based off the information we are given. The other person who is talked about in the prophecy is called the Destroyer, and their role in the prophecy is if they beat Elspeth to the great weapons, they will destroy what's left of the world. So this is book 4. Things are starting to progress. Things are starting to heat up. So yeah, really enjoying this, hoping to read this one by the end of the month. The next book that I'm currently reading is Android Karenina. I didn't really talk about this much yet on this channel. I read Anna Karenina in March. I'm not sure how I feel about it. There are personal reasons for my reservations. I will probably get into that at a later date. But the main reason that I read Anna Karenina, apart from the fact that it's a classic and I did want to read it because it has cultural value in that regard, was so that I could read these. This is the last in a collection of like classic sci-fi fantasy retellings. The first one being Pride, Prejudice and Zombies, which is now a movie. The final book in the series that I have is Android Karenina. Hoping to get to this, get it off my TBR. I'm currently listening to it. This is quite info dumpy at the beginning with like Android information, etc. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if my feelings about Anna Karenina are clarified with this particular retelling or if it's just something I'm going to have to figure out on my own. So currently listening to this. The book that I am currently reading is The Magician King by Lev Grossman. So my expectations for this series are a little skewed because I believed that this entire series took place over the main character Quentin's journey through like magical university or college or whatever. Quentin's basically plucked out of like a normal everyday life. He had no idea that he had magic, and he tests into this very exclusive magical college called Brackbills. He makes friends, he learns about magic. I thought the entire trilogy took place over the 5 years that he's meant to be at Brackbills. No, those 5 years are over in the first half of the first book. So I really have no idea what's about to happen in this book. And I'm mildly terrified. I'm really enjoying the humor from this book, but I'll talk about that in my wrap up. Enjoying this one so far. We'll see. The next book that I wanted to share with you guys is The Shadowed Throne by KJ Taylor. This series was never on my radar. Like, it didn't exist. Until one day I went and bought the latest Brandon Sanderson book, which came out around my birthday or something. And the person who sold me that book also had free copies of this to give away and said that she thought that this was similar-ish enough to Sanderson that I would enjoy it. So she gave me the first book. I read the first book, really enjoyed it. Anyway, got the second book, hoping to get to it this month because this does stuff that I'm intrigued by. This series has a prequel. Well, it's not specifically prequel. One of the side characters mentioned in this is the main character of the series that takes place also in this world, and you'll get a little bit more backstory from that. This book follows Layla. She's a young woman who is thrust into a bunch of magical intrigue and stuff. There is a certain elevated group in this series that joins with griffins, and they bonded as companions, and that griffin will only speak to them and stuff. I really enjoy this series, so I'm really hoping to get to this in the month of May. The next book that I want to read is The Bevin Kings by J.R. Ward. I've read most of J.R. Ward's current releases. Now, all of her other books are paranormal, urban fantasy kind of style. This book is contemporary southern family saga literature while still having the romance section of her novels. I don't really go in for family sagas generally, but I really enjoy J.R. Ward's writing, so I figured I might as well give this a go. If I don't like it, then it's not a big deal. I've still got, a million other books from her coming. But this basically follows Lizzie, who was the gardener for a very wealthy family. Their claim to fame is that they own the largest bourbon distillery or brewery or whatever. They're very wealthy and they're very prominent figures in their society. And Lizzie was involved with the family's son, Tulane, I believe his name is. They have both left because they realized that they could never work, and now they've both come back, and I think shit's about to go down. So this could be interesting. I could really enjoy this, I could really hate it, we'll see. The final book that I absolutely want to get to in the month of May is The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. Now, if you don't know this about me, I am absolutely terrified of zombies. Legitimately, not kidding, have nightmares about a zombie apocalypse. This is probably not going to go well for me, but I've heard enough really good things about it to consider maybe that the story itself will be worth the many zombie nightmares I'm about to give myself. What am I doing? I picked this up under the assumption that this is a standalone. I have since discovered that this is the first book in a series. So I'm going to read it. If it's not worth it, then I won't continue with the series, and that's fine. I don't really know too much about this other than there are zombies and that people really enjoy it, and I have been recommended it based upon my enjoyment of certain other books that I also enjoyed. I'm being specifically vague because if I tell you about those other books, then I'm going to spoil some stuff for you, and I don't want to ruin that. So yeah, this is quite short. This is 308 pages long. I've got the audiobook, it's 8 hours or something. It'll take me no time at all. So I imagine I'll get to this one, you know, and read it pretty quickly. So there's that. So those were all the books that I definitely want to get to in May. I'll do a quick little show and tell about what books I've got out of the library. Alright, so we're going to lightning round these. So the first book that I've got from the library that I may or may not read is Something Strange and Deadly by Susan Dennard. Heard great things about Truthwitch, haven't read it, have an art copy, should really get around to doing that. I believe this also has like zombies or necromancers or something. I've heard really good things about this. I think this is like steampunky urban fantasy stuff. Right up my alley. I'm really feeling like urban fantasy at the moment, so hoping to get to this one. The next book that I got out from the library will be surprising for some of you, and that is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. I've read The Raven Boys, I give it 4 stars, I enjoyed it. There was some stuff that I wasn't quite 100% on, but I enjoyed it enough to continue on with the series. The next book I've got is Revenant by Larissa Iona, I believe her name is. This is like a later on in the series book. It's currently the only one of this series that I haven't read. I was really enjoying this. This is another like urban fantasy, paranormal romance, angels, demons, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, funny, irreverent, very enjoyable. The next book that I want to show you guys is The Golem and the Genie. I don't know much about this. I know that a lot of people love it. I know that it's like historical saga. I know that it's got a golem and a genie, which I'm totally here for. I love genies. Or genies, however you want to say that. Really hoping to get to this one soon. This one's quite a bit longer than my other ones, so it may or may not happen, but if it doesn't, I'll just renew it and then I'll read it next month. The next book that I got from the library is Discount Armageddon by Shonen Maguire. For those of you that don't know, the popular book going around on BookTube at the moment is called Every Heart a Doorway, also by Shonen Maguire. Apparently Shonen Maguire quite prolific. Every Heart a Doorway and its sequel are just the first ones to get like really mainstream hype. This is a finished series. It's, again, urban fantasy, sci-fi, like, I'm just really feeling the urban fantasy role at the moment. This follows Verity Price, who is a cryptozoologist. Now, a cryptozoologist is someone who studies creatures that are not confirmed to exist. Apparently cool stuff happens in this. There's a demon. She's trying to study ballroom dancing while also being a cryptozoologist. This sounds like it's going to be hilarious and a roller coaster ride, and I am here for it. And the final book is The Darkest Torment by Gena Showalter. This is a series that I binge read a few years ago. I really enjoy Gena Showalter's writing. I've read the majority of her books. I read the first to like the 12th of this over a period of like 2 months. This has only recently come out, like end of last year. I still haven't read the previous book, so I've still got to read The Darkest Touch. This follows, again, another urban fantasy paranormal romance. This follows a group of men who have been cursed to hold demons within themselves, and as such they've kind of isolated themselves from society. They are considered immortal, so they've been around for a while and they're all very sad and upset. Yada yada yada. This is also like the author's take on like a urban fantasy Beauty and the Beast retelling. And if you don't know, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale, so I really want to read this, but I have to catch up first. We'll see if I do it. Those are all the books that I have to read in the month of May. I've got 12 books that I currently have to read, and I probably should read other books. I've got a bunch of arcs that I need to get to. I've got some other books on my shelves that have been there longer that should take priority, but fuck it. I'm gonna read what I want to read and not what my brain is trying to tell me that I should be reading. We'll see how many of those that I get to come back and find out if I do a good job. I hope you have a magical day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!